Manik Banerjee from Calcutta. He's a well-known mountaineer from there. So here we are having a chat with him. Yeah. So that is what we love to see. Now Manik, first tell me where were you born and what is your family background and everything?
I am from Calcutta, Bengal, and I came from a modest middle class family. And when I was an NCC cadet in
how did you, sir, who are in your family? Who all are there? Parents?
We used to stay in a joint family. My parents were there, who are of course no more now. My father, mother, elder brother and sisters and cousins also used to come and study in Kolkata at our place.
Big house.
Yeah, not big, but actually our ancestors were from East Pakistan. I mean, that time it was part of Bengal. I mean, original West Bengal. Subsequently, when those partition took place, so my father came to this side of India. I mean, in Kolkata now, and then settled there.
But you had never been anything of Bangladesh, or you not seen?
Yeah, I have seen. I have been afterwards. Afterwards.
How old you are now?
Pardon?
How old you are?
No, now I have completed 74 in January end, last January end.
Oh, okay.
So, quite old that way.
So then which school did you go or where did you go?
It's a United High School in North Calcutta, northern part of Calcutta, Ultadanga United High School. So, I studied there. That time it was matriculation. After that I studied pre-university, then BSc, then
everything in Calcutta.
Calcutta University, and journalism. I did my post-graduation in journalism from Calcutta University.
Which college or anything?
That I had several colleges, 2-3 colleges, because I studied in Vidyasagar College. Then there was Ram Mohan College. That was an evening college. So I went to evening college because I used to do little bit of flying also in Calcutta. Through NCC, I was in Air Wings, and in near Calcutta there is a place called Behala. It's now part of Greater Calcutta. There is a flying strip, and that flying club started there. So as an NCC Air Wing cadet, we are those who have gone to C certificate, they were allowed to do flying. So I had an option and I used to do flying. For that the whole day used to gone, and sometime
Flying around Calcutta or on?
It's near Calcutta, that Behala Flying Club it used to call.
It is still there?
It is still there. So that time we used to fly in Tiger Moth and Pushpak. Tiger Moth is a biplane. That's a very old type, but very maneuverable, very nice. Subsequently, it became obsolete. Then we went into Pushpak. So somehow during that time, that's why I went to the evening college. So the whole day used to spend for.
You are very passionate about flying.
Yeah, actually, what happened, many of the days we used to go to the airport, sitting there, nothing happened, because some days weather is bad, some day this thing, that thing, and after about in a week we might have to get or half an hour flying, like that. So that was the reason I changed it to evening college. Anyway, it didn't matter. Then in 63, there was an option through NCC for going for mountaineering courses, and
so that attracted you to go there.
Yeah, that gave me the chance or opportunity. Before that, I just heard about 53 climb, that the ascent of first ascent of Everest, and then in 1960 there was the first civilian expedition which climbed Nanda Ghunti. From that was organized from the Himalayan Association, which was earlier known as Himalayan Institute. Then subsequent
name is institution or association?
Association. It was changed because on the intimation from the center, they told us that us means the Himalayan Institute Authority to change the name because that is clashing with the HMI, Himalayan Mountaineering Institute. So you change it. So accordingly, we change it to Himalayan Association.
Who would form that?
Actually, this Himalayan Association started with some wanderers, well-known name. You might be knowing, this Uma Prasad Mukherjee,
Yes.
travel writer. Then Prabodh Sannal.
Yeah.
He was a literature, very very well-known novelist. He was one of the pioneers in Kallol Jug. That's a time of very known, novelists, literary persons. He is one of them. That Prabodh Sannal, and he had a very powerful pen. Very, no, Prabodh Sannal. No, he wrote a book called Mahaprasthaner Pathe. It means in the way to the great way or great upliftment, and that became very popular, very popular. And then of course this Uma Prasad Mukherjee was there. So I think Uma Prasad Mukherjee and then
Dhruv. All contemporary, same time. Uma Prasad Mukherjee and
yeah. I think we used to call them Prabodha Uma Prasad Babu essay. Uma Prasad Mukherjee was, he was one of the, he is the son of Ashutosh Mukherjee, that great patriot from, he was Chief Justice, then he was the Vice Chancellor and known for his, patriotic thing, that Ashutosh Mukherjee, in all over Bengal. And he one of his, Uma Prasad Babu's elder brother was Shama Prasad Mukherjee. That founder of Jansang,
yes,
and which ultimately I think they joined with that other parties, and Jansang is no more.
Yes.
So that way, very illustrious family. So Uma Prasad Mukherjee, he did not marry. He was a wanderer. He used to travel all over the Himalaya and wrote many books.
So this was all in 19.
No, they met, they and some youngsters like Dhruva Majumdar. He was he became a journalist. He was also, they were traveling to Mansarovar. There they met, and then there was another person, Shukumar Roy, Amitabh Dasgupta. They all met, and then they discussed about how about forming a organization or association of those who like-minded mountaineer, not mountaineering, because that time there's not very many people have done that mountaineering, etc.
So you mean that by that time Calcutta had no mountaineering developed yet?
Organization.
Yes.
They
were going for climbing?
Yeah, they used to trekking, of course, and and in the name of pilgrimage, that was going on for a long time, and then trekking and other thing. Organized expedition was done first in 1960. That after the that Himalayan Institute, it was then Himalayan Institute.
So that was converted to association, and Uma Prasad Mukherjee was the main person behind it.
He was one of the main.
One of them.
Then Prabodh Sannal, Dhruva Majumdar. Dhruva Majumdar was a journalist subsequently, and he was with ABP group, Anandabazar group. Then Shukumar Roy, who was the leader of that first expedition, civilian expedition that went to Nandaghunti in 1960. And then Amitabh Dasgupta, another person, who is.
And all these were what, young mountaineers or
young
30s, 40s, what age?
They were then this Dhruvoda and Amitabhoda, they were in their 30s. They are much younger. They are much younger. And Amitabh Dasgupta also had a connection because he used to go to Darjeeling. He was a good photographer also, though he joined banking afterwards. So there was, you must be knowing Moni Sen, that Science Art Studio.
Yes.
Yeah, that was sort of a that all the old timers like Frank Smythe and others, they used to visit his studio, and he had a number of collections. And in fact, Moni Sen visited Zongri in 1930s, along when Tenzing used to accompany them. Moni Sen and then another person, he was Kumar Ramendranarayan Rai, he was sort of Zamindar, you know, and patron of all these things. So they used to travel a lot. They had been to Mount Sarovar, and those days, you know, Jongri, etc., Sikkim, and Tenzing used to accompany them as a sort of guide, you can say. We have seen photos in his studio that Tenzing and Moni Sen, with that pony, they were traveling. And then Moni Sen's son was Brojen Sen, who was is called, he used to be called as Bhunjo Sen. He was also curator. Subsequently, he became the curator of HMI, and it was Moni Sen who designed the HMI, that, you know, how it would be, where will be the hostel and everything, and the arts, you know, that which is still there on the in HMI campuses.
Moni Sen did that?
Moni Sen. He was a very good artist, photographer, and he used to have the, you know, three-dimensional thing, putting on his painting little bit of pebbles and other things, and a beautiful those days. Alas, that studio is no more there after his death. That Bhunjoda, when he was a curator, he used to stay there, but subsequently in the aftermath of that, you know, Gorkha agitation, he decided to, and he also retired, so he decided to settle in Calcutta. So there we used to go, and we saw those things, and, you know, there is a very interesting episode, and he had a book, and everybody who used to come, they used to sign there. So there I saw, you know, a sign by Frank Smythe, so he signed twice. So I asked him why he signed twice. So, well, you know, he was that I think in Smythe in his later life became a little had dementia or something like that, you know. He used to be forgetful. No, I don't know exactly the what. So when he was being signed, he forget his name. So he had some friend, I don't know his name, one of the, you know, climbers, they used to go through Darjeeling that time. So he said, what's my name? He said, why? You're Smythe, Frank Smythe. Oh, Smythe. So he signed twice. That. So it was first noted that Moni Sen told us, that was the time he first noted that something is, you know, happening.
Smythe was getting senile.
Yeah, if you put it that way. That.
What other collections he had, Moni Sen?
Many. I don't.
Those now.
Those. That Bhunjo Sen also died. His son is there in Calcutta, and we are from Calcutta section of Himalayan Club trying to negotiate. He said that whatever he has, that he like to, you know, he will be giving those collections to have a sort of, we can have a museum or a mini museum sort of thing where we, that is yet to come.
Yeah, but then you will have to, you know, digitize them, because these papers, they got rot. That's why we are.
Yes.
There
were rare collections.
And original and collection both can come back to you.
Yeah.
If it is possible, we can digitize here.
Sure. I will have a talk. And
so
then
from Darjeeling,
then, you know, I was selected through NCC, went to Darjeeling to do the HMI. Then my course.
Which is the course? Which year?
That was in 63.
Oh.
Then my course mate was, you know, one Biren Sarkar. You haven't heard his name. He was also a. Yeah, he used to write that on Rupkund. He write in before, I think around 1960 or 59. Rahasya means, you know, that Rupkund. So he was, but he was not a great climber though, but he was very interested in mountaineering, and he had immense knowledge on botany. He used to work in railways. So he used to botany and other thing, you know, like, you know, little bit of glaciology and rocks, etc. So he used to tell us this. In fact, it was he who took us to Moni Sen's studio. And then there was another, you know, Nitai Rai, an old timer of our Himalayan Club. He's still there. So he, yeah.
He doesn't come to the programs?
No, he doesn't go out of his home. That's very sad. We tried to several times. So the Nitaida, I mean, he was doing his advanced course in the same. We were doing basic, myself, Biren Sarkar, and there was another guy. He was then HMI medical officer, Dr. Bimal Ghoshal. He was doctor in that 1962 expedition to which made the first Indian ascent of Nilgiri. After Smythe's ascent, he that Indian the leader was Amulya, our old Amulya Sen, and Nitai Roy, and another Manik Banerjee. He was a tea planter, and he also had been with Sir Edmund in the Yeti expeditions and others there in Nepal those days. So he was there. Both of them, Nitai and Bhanu, they climbed that Nilgiri. So Nitaida was doing his advance along with, I remember Soli Mehta was also in that course. Soli Mehta and another, I think he should be also a member in H.B. Iyengar, Dr. Iyengar. Dr. Iyengar, he was in ICI, I think those I remember. And other we used to see them, because they were advanced, they were going, but we met them in base camp, etc. So from there I came to know about Himalayan Association. Then after the course, when I came back, then I went there and became a member.
Who was your instructor in HMI?
That time in the basic was Gyaljen. He was senior instructor then, Gyaljen Mikchen. So very nice. All these instructors were superb. There was Gyaljen, then Gyaljen, Danam Gyal, Danam Gyal, Pasang Temba, not Pasang, Ang Temba, then Gombu, then Angkami, and Tashi, and Latu. Latu was the junior most. He just joined, I think, some months before as an instructor. And he was, of course, very smart and handsome, everything. So our instructor was Gyaljen. So then we came back, and again we are called for. That time the NCC used to call those who used to do well in the basic, they were automatically given a chance for the advance. So I did my advance next year, 64. Then in between we became a member of Himalayan Association, and we are having our what happened, we are not in 65. Background music.
Anyway, continue for a while because the voice is not going to go on. If they come too near, then we'll have to stop it.
Achha. So 65 January, and in between Himalayan Association first did that.
How many members were there at Himalayan Association? Was it very popular?
Yeah, that was the first one.
First one in Calcutta.
Yeah, and if you say all these others, old timers of those who have become started their own club, they are all from association. It went to the sprouted, different people went out and started. At the same time, they were member of Himalayan Association and also started their own. Like Asansol, they started one Mountain Lovers Association.
Yes.
Then after the Nanda Gunti, the main bifurcation came. This Nanda Gunti, the patron was Anandabazar Patrika. They used to fund. They made the major fund. So after that, some members they went and they started a separate club. It's sort of a Anandabazar Patrika's club called Parbat Abhijatri Sangha. Yeah, PS, Parbat Abhijatri Sangha. That who were member of, they are also member of like Vishwadev Bishwas, an old timer, Nimai Bose, etc. So they were at the same time life member of Himalayan Association, and also they are that way in most of the clubs those days who started after Himalayan Association, they were connected with association.
Who was running the Himalayan Association? President or some really John behind it?
No, initially that Umaprasad Mukherjee, after some time, Then we had a Shishir Banerjee Bandyopadhyay. He was an advocate, and he came from a Jamindar family, Bhukailash family. He was also contemporary of, they were great friends, Uma Prasad Babu and Shishir. We used to call him Shishirda. He was very senior to us, but as you know, Dada,
Yes. Who was the president that time?
then Shishirda took over.
He was really running everything.
Shishirda, then others like, Kamal Guha, he was secretary, then Dr. M.L. Biswas, who was our Himalayan Club sectional vice president also, I think. Dr. Boninderlal Bishwas, he was a noted child specialist in Calcutta. He was professor in medical college, and also he went to, Gomukh to Badrinath in, I think in early 60s, along with his wife, Mrs. Bhakti Bishwas, and Uma Prasad Babu. They all went together.
They are all quite well-known names to us,
Yeah, because they are all connected with Himalayan Club, really. So, and Himalayan Club, of course, is the mother.
No, I mean, say, in the Himalayan Association, then how many totally members were the thousands? Or?
No, not in its top position, in its height of glory, it used to have 200, 250, 200 around. Yeah, 250. Because it's a little specialized sort of thing. Mountaineering is not that popular, and in 60s, 70s, we try to make it popular, like organizing camps and rock climbing courses by paying from our own pockets to attract others, going to schools and colleges, giving some lectures, demonstration with some photos, expedition photos, and rock climbing. So that way.
So this was, I mean, really the beginning of mountaineering in Calcutta.
60s, yes, from 60s.
I mean, associated right from the beginning.
No, it started in 60, but before that they used to go for trek, like he said that Mansarovar, and that was going from since 40, 50, late 40s, 30s also, like Moni Sen did it in Zongdi and all those places, and Kumar this Rai, and they used to do from 30s, but real organized way that started from 60.
60, yeah. So you were right from the
from 63, yes. So that way.
You went for HMI basic and then
advance 64.
64.
And then next
which month you went for advance?
Advance, I think it was in October, September, that post monsoon time.
Post monsoon time.
Yeah. Then we had to go for that expedition to Tirshuli. Before that.
That was sort of that time or later?
No, in 65 only. First attempt we made, and the leader was K.P. Sharma. He was an equipment officer of HMI, and at the same time he was before that he was a member of second Everest expedition, which was led by I think John Dias.
You met all of these, John Dias and K.P. Sharma?
Yeah, K.P. Sharma was there in HMI as an equipment officer.
Okay.
He was equipment officer there. When you did our basic advance, he was there. John Dias, I think I met maybe I remember in HMI. But subsequently he died early of leukemia.
Yes.
Yeah, he died early. So then 65, but I couldn't go to that expedition because it clashed with my exam, BSc exam. So I said, okay, I had hard luck because mountaineering is my passion, but I never thought of it to taking it as a profession. Of course, those years you can remember, it was not that, and anyway. But I used to, even after doing my basic advance, and I also subsequently went there as an instructor in adventure courses at HMI. So never I thought of taking it as a, but my professional thing was in journalism subsequently.
So by this time you had become a journalist?
No, I used to study. I did from 67. 69 did my post graduation. Then I used to then freelancing, Then after that I joined regularly at UNI, United News is a news agency, and then subsequently after completing my tenure there, I was with Associated Press, that AP American, and now I am also continuing with this Calcutta news agency called Blooms, India Blooms News Service. As they say, doctors, lawyers and journalists, they never retire. So I was a little disappointed, how to, but the whether to go for the expedition or to exam. I said no. Then my parents were also, they said no, don't miss the exam. You can go for the mountaineering. And as it happened, they had to turn back. The weather was very bad. That 65, they came back. Chanchalda was also in that team.
Chanchalda was mountaineering right from young age?
Yes, he did this as a Boy Scout. He would be able to tell. He went to Darjeeling in his very young days. But then for me, I never been to mountain before I did my basic course. And hardly anything, I didn't know, only that much I know that maybe I have seen that movie of 53 Everest, which was I think shown commercially also after that.
Yes.
And that 60 Nanda Ghunti, that given a quite sensation in Bengal, because that was the first experience very much highlighted through Anand Bazar. So besides those, I had hardly had anything except still I did my basic course. So then, but again we thought of doing that expedition, because Trishuli we couldn't make it, and Trishuli was also tried by pre-Everest expedition in 64, I think, early 64, early 64. But their tents were, luckily they were not, their tents were washed away by an avalanche.
Avalanche.
Yeah, I think he was also there, Colonel Sandhu. He was captain then, he was young captain. And then it was, before that it was tried by police expedition, yes, which made the first ascent of Nanda Devi East.
Yes.
I think that was in 39 or 41, yeah, like that. So after that, after climbing Nanda Devi East, they tried Trishuli, and 2 of their members also died in that avalanche. It was little treacherous that way. So anyway, we took the challenge. Chanchalda was the leader, the Sikamitra. And we were sort of greenhorn, but we had our advanced courses done. Myself, there was this Shamal Chakrabarti. He was a very tough and very good climber. Unfortunately, he didn't continue with mountaineering much, except going for an expedition with IMF expedition to Shasher Kangri 1 in 70, led by Harsh Bahuguna. And then he joined one of the association expedition in 73. So 66, that was a landmark expedition, the first civilian expedition to climb a peak of that magnitude, that made the first ascent of Trishuli. We had to do 4-5 camps. It was a very long route, but somehow Tashi was with us, Nima Tashi as a Sherpa Sardar. And there was another Sherpa, he was very good, Nim Dorji. He had a cocked eye, and he subsequently joined this ITBP. So they were very good. Then somehow we did that. So I was there. I was in the first party. Shamal and another climber called Malik. Malik was Nirapada was member of Nilgiri. So Shamal was very tough, and Nilapada was the experience of that expedition. They were given the first team, first party. Myself and Khanna were another member. We were in the second. So while coming from the summit, this Shamal had a frostbite on his leg. So we were waiting at the camp 3, and when there was 2 more camps, camp 4, camp 5, and it was with we had to bring back Shamal because he couldn't walk properly. So, the chances for the second party were gone. So, we came back. Then next year we tried, we were planning to go for Nanda Devi East. Just few days before the expedition, we got a message from IMF that you are not allowed to go to Nanda Devi peak, you choose some other peak. But that was we had planned everything for that peak. So, what to do? Actually, we came to know later on that this nuclear device was being set up, that Americans and these Indians, they were being set up that time. So, we were not allowed to go that area. So, only alternative was that we know the route for Hardol. Hardol was just the same route, you have to go to the climb Tirshuli and then go to Hardol in the same ridge. So, we attempted it, but then we were late by organizing, it took us quite late, and Nitai Roy was with me, Chanchalda was leader again, I was there, Nitai Roy and 3-4 other young members. Then after establishing Camp 4, we had to call it a day because there was heavy snowfall, winter was setting in, and Latu was with us as a Sherpa Sardar. That was his first big expedition, civilian. So, but he did a marvelous job, both Tashi in 66 and Latu.
Okay, so this is now part 2 of an interview with Manik Banerjee. So, Manik, where were you up to now? And
we are just up to Nanda Devi expedition. Actually, Nanda Devi, it was again a paratroopers expedition led by Major Kiran Kumar.
So you have always been friends with Kumar.
Yeah.
You must be very upset when he died.
Yeah, I was there very much,
Where, on Everest?
Yeah, I was there. I was also with the Everest expedition. I was taken as a member who also mainly for this reporting, and also since I do climb, they agreed to take me with my experience and climbing. I did some climb, not of course. I was allowed. I could go before but that is coming on afterwards. That now in this Nanda Devi, it was also a really good climb, at the same time very sad. This was the time when both the peaks were climbed together, Nanda Devi main and Nanda Devi east, and the Kiran had a very
by different routes.
One from the Longstaff call from the inside the sanctuary, gaining Longstaff call and then climbing Nanda Devi east, and another is Nanda Devi traditional route, that which was first climbed by Tillman. That traditional route. And just before us, this IMF expedition was also there. That was ladies, IMF team, mixed team, led by Colonel Sandhu. Latu was also there with that team, where Chandraprabha, then Rekha Sharma and Harshavanti, then Ratan Singh. These three ladies, they climbed along with Latu, Ratan Singh, and
you were also on that expedition?
No, not on that. At the same time, we are waiting to they will clear up the mountain, and then we will start our climb. Same time. So we met them at the base and had a nice meeting, get together. And Colonel Sandhu, is always a very good friend and all these things. So we had a
friend with you or others. You are a very good friend.
Yeah. Colonel Sandhu, yes, that way. So, after they finished, then we started our climb, and we had a plan that, it's a big, being these paratroopers sponsored by the armed forces. So, there was not, I don't think there was any dot of fund that way. It was a big team with many of these, paratroopers that from Sherpas were in the forces, they are part of as a member. Then it was divided in 2 teams, east and this main. So initially I was in the east team because this Gyaljen's son, who Fudorji.
No.
Fudorji, he was the instructor.
Yes.
He was also in the expedition. He was part of, and we are friends, you know. Fudorji being in Darjeeling, I am going there for HMI as an instructor. So we are very well. He told me, Manik, let's go, we will be together. And along with us, there was one Captain Premjit Lal. He is a Dogra. He was from Himachal. He was very jovial. He was instructor at house that time. So he also insisted. So I was ready to go there. Is almost decided. Then Kiran intervened. He said, no, you will climb with me. We will be doing Nanda Devi Main. I said, okay. He being the leader, so I said, okay, we'll do. So maybe that was another luck. I don't know. Had I been there, maybe because there were accidents both in East and Main Peak.
Yeah.
So we did.
Is that Fudorji died?
Fudorji and Premjit Lal and another instructor of house that time, Daya Chand. He was a veteran of 77 expedition, the Kanchenjunga. It was so treacherous, the route. Actually,
what happened? How did they die?
These Fudorji and Premjit Lal, while they were coming down after the summit.
They climbed the summit and
Yeah,
came back.
they climbed the summit. And after that, while they coming down, they slipped. One of them slipped. That what happened? Who slipped? Because subsequently, their balaclava and all they were found on the route, and their bodies were hanging on the wall on the rope. That could have been. That was found while the helicopter recce was being done after the accident. That Major Kumar, he took the photos, that was, they were found hanging. But it was not possible to retrieve from that wall those bodies by the chopper. And after that, another party went, they climbed, and they climbed and came back to the last camp. And Dayachand was coming out of the tent to put up his, crampon and other thing. Somehow he didn't clip his in the fixed rope. He slipped and he went down and he died. Very sad. There's a moment of, that they don't, mistake and you had it. That was the story of East, though they climbed from the East also, another captain and other thing. And the main, what happened, Main Peak, this Captain Lakha Singh, he was one of the tough paratroopers, and to top paratroopers, he was he had been to the penultimate camp in Kanchenjunga, I am told, and he was in the leading in the main. And after reaching camp 3, bad weather struck for several days, and he was told to come down. So he was a little stubborn and I think he didn't come down. He said, "Nahi, hum aa gaya, hum khatam karke hi jayega. I will finish the job and then I will go." But bad weather continued, and when he finally decided, he had no energy left because there was not much of food and any support and everything. So while returning to the base, he died on the rope, fixed rope.
Just out of strength.
Yeah, out of the strength. So that was very sad. Then another well, after the weather turned well, another party sent. They did the summit. While coming back from the summit, one of the one of the member, he was changing his. He was in the back. He said, "Now I will be leading." So he was coming in front, and then he changing rope. He slipped and fell, that beneath, and he died. That was very sad. And even then, after that, we are ready. I myself and along with Kiran, we are waiting at Camp 4 to have a go next time after they come back, because in that team there was an Air Force personnel squadron leader Benugopal. While going to the summit, he got snow blindness. So they had to anchor him below the summit, and then this is I am telling about that last accident.
Yes.
the last one. That, and they, while coming back, they brought him to the last camp, and we are ready to go for the summit. After that rope was fixed, and it was not technically not that difficult except the exposure. So it was a huge moment of decision to what to do. We'll go for the summit or forego the summit to bring him down, because he couldn't see anything. And he was a very tall and hefty guy. It was a hell of a job to bring him down from that level. Then somehow we forego our chance, and we brought him down to the base. It was a huge task. Then the last two. Then ultimately we it was climbed under the both main and east, but at the cost of quite huge cost.
Yeah, a lot of people died.
A lot of people died. That's very sad. That was in 81. Then
you were filing a report on this for Anand Bazar.
Yes, yes. Not Anand Bazar. I was filing through the agency. Actually another one. If you, I was in UNI. It's a news agency, given news to all the papers and everything.
Yes, yes.
So my report used to go to everybody.
They must be very happy, with everything coming right from base camp and everything.
Yeah, that our agency was. That our general manager Mirchandan, he was very happy. So he was to let me go. So that was in 1981.
Yes.
Then 82, the first pre-Everest expedition was announced. That pre-Everest for a team to be
Pre-Everest from IMF or
from IMF, and to be expedition to go on 84, and that will be a mixed expedition, but with the main objective to put a lady Indian climber on top of Everest.
Yeah.
So there were two separate expedition pre-Everest. For the first pre-Everest, one was held on Gangotri, and one was held on Gangotri organized by NIM. Another was on Kabru Dome organized by HMI. Then HMI principal was Colonel Khullar, DK Khullar, Darshan Khullar. So we were, I also, then many of us, I was called in for that expedition. Then, and according to their report, it was not climbed till then. So we took a recognition. It was also a good team. The HMI instructors were there, then other instructors like Mohabit Thakur and other senior climbers from Bengal, myself, then Bidyut Sarkar, Ujjal Ganguly, and 3-4 lady members. They were there. Rita was there, Rita, and Fudorji. That they were at that time Sikkim Sonam Gyatso Mountaineering Institute. They were instructed there. So they also joined that. It's a very good team. Then the team was divided in 3 groups, and the first group went, and they made the route. It's creditable to them, but they couldn't make to the summit because they by the time they were on their way to the summit, it was totally white out and everything. So they were a little late and they had to come back. Then second group went there and they climbed, and I was in the third group. We also went and we climbed. I think five of us from the 5 or 6 of us from the third group, we climbed it. It was an interesting climb. From last camp 3, it was not. We had to fix rope. Before that, there was a little treacherous ice fall that we had to coming from Kabru Dome wall. We had to cover that. Then we put the camp 3, and from camp 3 we went up and then a fixed rope as a ridge, and then got into the final summit ridge. And after that, it was and in the summit there was a little sort of a mini dome. It's just a little dome, a couple of feet or 3 feet high. We we didn't put our feet on the top of the dome. We be there and we just took our photos. And one thing, we have seen Kanchenjunga from Darjeeling. That's a fabulous view. That's enchanting. But when we saw from the Kabru Dome summit on the Kanchenjunga, I had that photo. It doesn't look that, that fabulous or grandeur. It's like another, just this peak climbing. Maybe proximity of it is very close.
I mean, it doesn't look steep and difficult, you mean?
No, it's difficult, but that this view of that, that enlarged view from which you see from the Mall, Darjeeling, that gives you a real idea. But from when you see from the Kabludom summit, you don't, at least I didn't feel it that way. So I had few slides of that this summit. So that was in 82.
Yeah.
But then after that,
who were your companions? Anybody?
Ujjwal was there, but Ujjwal was unlucky because when the summit team was going, we first went out in the morning, but because of very high wind, we couldn't go. That is in the early morning. It was black that time. Then we thought we will be waiting, and then when we subsequently went out, we were calling for Ujjwal 2-3 times, but he didn't hear that because of wind and something. He thought we are not going. So we was waiting, but we left. We climbed and came back. Ujjwal and Bidyut, Sarkar was in the second team, but as he was very, he was always shunned publicity and chup-chap, is apna kam karta hai. He doesn't want to come to the limelight, etc. So he was, the summit party went, he was with the party and he was helping the others. There were quite a few ladies, one of the lady climber and other, who were slogging behind. He used to give them, chalo theek hai, I will be with you, and etc. And by the time they were coming, almost going to the reach of the same member, some members of the same party, they reached the summit and coming back. They said, no, it will be late for you to come to go and climb the summit and then coming back. So he had to forego that. But he was unlucky. He was very fit, very good, Bidyut Sarkar, for no fault of his. Of course, you may call it a fault because in a selection expedition, you have to take care of yourself, but he thought it otherwise. That was his character. He thought, no, it will be better to help them. Then Srimit, Srimani, and there were quite a few ladies, Bani Bose, Rita, if you call her from, she was from Darjeeling that way. Rita Gombu, Bani Bose, and some others, two, three others. And that was led by Brigadier Colonel Khullar that time. So then we came back, and after that expedition, I had a chance to, I was attending a course of journalism in Berlin, West Germany, International Institute of Journalism. So I took that opportunity to, I had a long, wish to have, we have read so much about Alps, climbing Alps, doing a route. Incidentally, I had met one of the DAB climber. He was a very noted climber, Karl Schrag. He is one of the, he's still now I think one of the UIAA member, and he believes in ethics and all those things, not much of doing that what is extension, use of expansion bolt and etc. and climbing in a sort of pure way. So he was in Munich. So from Berlin I contacted him. He told me, you come along, we'll be going for some climb. So from Berlin, in a weekend I went there to Munich, stayed at his place, and from there I think we went to Austrian Alps, and we stayed there in the hut and then do a climb. That was in one of the route, Western Hute, they said, one of their regular route, but none of he said no Indian has come this side. So we will be the first Indian. Anyway, we did it. It was a 8-9 hours affair, quite from the base. Actually, initially he let me, so you do the lead. You have come all the way from India, You have the, but actually the most difficult part that was done by him, Carl. And after reaching that, completing that route, we came down from rappelling and stayed the night again at that hut and celebrated with huge mugs of beers. That typical of Germany. That was quite an experience. That's really an experience of climbing in the alpine routes.
That's the only time you climbed in also later on?
Yeah, no, that's the only, later on subsequently, that was not kind, that I went to Chamonix. After my course, from there I went to Chamonix, and Chamonix, you remember, there were two of their instructors, they came to Darjeeling during International Mountaineers Meet in 1973,
yes.
Jean Coudray and Maurice Jekyll. So I wrote Jean before going there. I am going, so he was very nice, and he said, okay, you can come and stay, otherwise it would be quite costly at the IMSA, that their guest house, and you can, he also gave me some tickets of some telepheric where you can go here and there and see the peaks and all these things. That way, but didn't climb that way like I did in Austrian Alps, that Chamonix. And I also had a chance to go to, there is a place near Paris called Fontainebleau. That's a nursery sort of thing, like we had Shushunia in Calcutta, I mean in Bengal. There are all the big names like René Desmarchins, Pierre Allais and other climbers. They had their beginning there, and they used to regularly practice there. You know, I went away amazed, from 8 to 80 people, both men, women, they are all climbing, all boulders of course, but they are so sincere and nice thing. They used to keep them in good state. That's great. That was a nice exposure. Then when we 83 came back.
Now say in between little gap, were you married by now?
Yeah.
Which year
No. I am not married. Huh? Because I was not married till then. No, after that.
After that you married?
I married just before going to Everest in 85.
Oh, acha. So
yeah.
You are yet to come to that stage.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So 83 you are
yeah.
back, and then?
Yeah, 83. Then there will be the second pre-Everest final selection team. That was we were attempting Mana Peak, and you know, all these heavyweight climbers and top climbers. Then we are also there. We attempted, but we couldn't climb the peak. But that was selection expedition under Colonel Sandhu. Though team was selected, and I am told later on that I was though in the team, but finally that Colonel Sandhu was to lead that expedition. But last moment it was changed, and Colonel Khuller was made the leader. So in Colonel Sandhu's team I was there. But then Colonel Khuller, he had some of his own choices and other things. He took some member, and I was excluded. But of course, Colonel Khuller admitted it. He mentioned in his book. At least. Anyway, that was I was a little disappointed. But then, you know, that year I went to Simbu. That is also again this medical expedition of army, AMC expedition. Colonel Sen, Subhendu Sen, he was a doctor in 77 Kanchenjunga expedition. So he had his training, and he planned a expedition of the medical corps to the Simbu peak. So he called me. So I said, okay, fine. I went with him. That Simbu, that base camp was in Green Lake. Then we went to Simbu Glacier, and then then Simbu was climbed. And after that, 84, then 85 came, and the army was planning for an expedition to go to Everest for a long time. So that was the first time they made decided that they would be attempting Everest. They got a slot, 85 post monsoon. So here also I got got a call from the army, in the sense they want someone who can report and also climb, sort of thing. So I was taken in there, So 85, that was in July, August, because that time we trek from Jiri. We used to. So when I came to Delhi and before the final send off in Defence Service Officers Institute, so I got a call from my office and I was informed that my father expired. So what do? I was contemplating. Then I told it to this. He was the leader then. Colonel Premchand. Premchand was the leader. Then I told the Colonel Tankha. He was in the Army Adventure Cell. He was director. They said, okay, no problem. It will take some time to be. We start our trek. We will be going a couple of days to Kathmandu. Stay there for 2-3 days to organize things. Then we will start. You can join us there. So I went back to Calcutta, and from there I went to Kathmandu and joined the team there. Then from there we went, started trekking from GD, and the advance party, of course, there were earlier. They moved, they set up the base and everything. And those days, only one team was allowed to the Everest, and there was no route done and everything. You have to take, of course, with the help of Sherpas and everything, do your own route and climb. And that was another tale of very sad. We lost.
Many people died.
Another 5. Major Kumar, he slipped. He had a fall rather while going for summit from South Col. I think he had a fall. Then 4 other climbers, they got stuck up in a bad weather in South Col, and before their help could be reached, I think 3 of them almost dead. They were dead. Only one of the officers was still alive, but he was unable to move. And when IB Singh, one of the Jawans, he reached, and one Captain Prem Prakash, they valiantly tried and they reached this South Col camp. So it was not possible to bring him. He was a tough guy, the toughest among them. He survived that long. To bring him PK back, they tried, but then slipped 2-3 times on the fixed rope. Then couldn't do. They have to save. So he had it that 4, and after that everybody came down, and before that the leader was changed because the Colonel Prem could not had an accident and had some fracture on his hand. It was initially decided that he would be joining us at the base because it take long time from Jiri to base camp, 15-16 days. But when we are at Namche Bazar, we came to know that another person is coming as a leader, Brigadier Jagjit Singh. So he joined that leader. Then after that accident, he was again changed. Again we heard that this Colonel Premchand would be coming, and in fact initial plan was that it would be attempting southwest face and traditional southeast route, and so the climbing was going on in southwest face also, and they did reach up to around 24-25, where they had that the Boningtons, that they used that tent also. That structure was still there when they attempted in 75. That wall.
Why the change of leaders and all that? You think
that is
silly? Absolutely.
That is
Who was doing it?
no. It is army. Sarin was not. He was ambassador then. He retired from. He was ambassador in Kashmir, and there may be military authorities. Then Director General of Military Training and others.
Quite silly, to change leaders here and there.
And then again, Brigadier Jagjit Singh was changed. And Colonel Prem came, but when he came, it was a gone case. Everybody, then his morale was very down and everything. Even then, an attempt was made, but then they couldn't go beyond South Col, and because that was almost October end, and the winter has set in. It was they did an attempt, and we had to come back. That was a very sad state of.
You stayed at base camp?
No, I went up to I used to send from my dispatches from there. I went up to with the ferries and everything up to Camp 2. Up to Camp 2. But then waiting for chance, the first priority was to put a man on the top, the member and the army personnel on the top. So once it was done, maybe I would have got some chances to go further up. I don't know how far I could have gone, but that didn't happen.
So then after 85?
Yeah, that was 85. Then I got, and incidentally, just before going to a few days, I mean, about less than a fortnight before that, I got married.
Oh.
But I couldn't raise the temptation of going to Everest. Those days getting a chance to, because individually it was not possible for a simple club also organizing, and because that requires a huge fund. And since I got that opportunity, so I grabbed it.
So your wife agreed to it, no problem?
No, she agreed. I make her understand that way. I was very grateful to her, and because of, she.
So arranged marriage or you knew her before?
It was not arranged really, but not very long courtship. But, we came to know each other, and then we decided. I was also pretty, aged that time. In the normal sequence of marriage, normally people get married in our time used to get in late 20s or 30, 31, but I got married in late 30s, about 39 then.
And so your wife was?
She was about quite a few years junior, about 10 years junior to me. She was a professor in a college.
That was an arranged marriage?
Yeah, not arranged really. We met through our common friend, and then proposal was, we said, okay, let's get settled.
She's not a mountaineer or climber?
No, she's not. But she had a trek to, like, Gomukh and Kedar Badri, and also been to Arunachal. We went to Bumla also, but of course in car, like that. Falud, Sandakpur, etc. But not much of.
So you were married and now you have children?
Yeah, I have got a daughter, and she is now pursuing her PhD in neuroscience at Bangalore in Indian Institute of Science.
How old is she?
She will be 28.
Oh,
20. So
any son or?
No, only one. Yeah. So then after that also, I also had another expedition that was also in a smaller scale. Like, I thought, why not take a media person's expedition, so that other to make them interested in this mountaineering, and so that they can also after me can write about the expeditions going up on the. So that was in 89. That was sort of all India basis. It was organized from Press Club Kolkata, but we do take from the one of them was Archana Bhattacharya. She was in Doordarshan, Assam. She was in Pre-Everest. She was a climber type. Pre-Everest, then one from UNI, Mohan Pusharoti, 2-3 from Calcutta. They are all in working in various journals and agencies.
Now, one or two points, Manik, like to add towards the end. So here he goes. Go. I also had the opportunity to be, on the top of the crater of Barren Island. That volcano. When it first erupted in. Now, where is the Barren Island that you have to tell us? Of Andaman Sea. Andaman Sea. There is that Barren Island which erupted after a long time, I think after about a century. Again, it erupted in the first time, early 90s. Yeah. So that time I had to, I led a GSI team to the top of the crater of that volcano. Correct, samples and all this. It was, it was not erupting, but it was land. The fumes were coming up after a couple of months after the huge eruption. Then we took the team up to the crater and they collecting samples. That was one thing. And also, I had some under satisfaction that gave me some contentment of some getting some awards. First, it was the West Bengal State Council of Sports. They gave me a State Council Sports Award for writing about this expeditions, other things in various journals and newspapers. My report is to come. Then subsequently, for my contribution in the mountaineering, the West Bengal government, they gave me a Tenzing
Norway award.
That is the state.
State or
No,
national?
No, that's not national. National. That is for the West Bengal government. It was also name is that
Same name.
Yeah. And last year, then Indian Mountaineering, year before last, Indian Mountaineering Foundation, that is IMF, they also award me the Naini Singh Kishan Singh Award.
Well deserved.
Yeah, that's for my work and contribution on this.
Yes.
And lastly, I am so grateful to my family, because unless they are sacrifices, they have to sacrifice, because I used to go out off and on and all this thing. They bear it out to themselves for running the house and all this. And that way, my wife Gunja and my daughter, that is the Sangha, they are very helpful. They just not to make me pursue this. Even now, even at this age, they have no grievances that way. They rather help me.
That's good. You're lucky.
Yeah,
I am always want to. The wife starts grumbling. There's a big problem.
Yeah.
And anybody else you are really?
Yeah, that way.
Remember him?
I want to Chanchanda, who was my leader of my first expedition. He was one, who influenced me that it is not the bare just climbing, it's not a mountaineering. You have to do some many other things also, photography. You're writing reports about the these of the things about the area. You little bit of botany, flora, fauna. You have to be, know all these things. That will make you concentrate. Look, and also these commentary and other things that also came. And another person, he's of course not much in mountaineering these days. That he was also with me as a NCC cadet. So Shamul Chakraborty. Shamul was the first one who before me went to Manali for that through NCC. And he came and told me, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a very adventurous, you must do it. So he said, then I opted and I got the opportunity and I joined this mountaineering to make me. So that way, and then many others, of course. On their name, like that I came across like a friend like you. Other thing, also many other people.
Anyway, good. You remember everybody and family and everybody. Thank you.